Welcome to another episode of 90 Minutes of Wisdom, a channel dedicated to helping you expand your knowledge and develop a more successful and peaceful mind. My guest today is a certified life coach who uses the modalities of premium nutrition, fitness, and mindset coaching to help her clients transform their bodies, mind, and soul. She holds a world record in swimming, which she achieved at the Pan Am Masters Championships. A true role model for us all. Please welcome to the show, Sara Goggin Young. Welcome, Sara.
Hi, Andrew. It's an honor to be here.
Webinar that you did about vision boards.
I loved it. Envision 2021, how to get centered before you place your goals in your vision for what you want to achieve.
If you don't plan yourself for, where your life is going, somebody else will, right?
Yes.
You'll end up in somebody else's vision board.
And we don't want that.
No, sometimes not. Why don't we begin with just asking you, I know you're certified life coach, and telling the audience a little bit about that and how you started with that.
Oh, sure. I'd love to. I was thinking about this morning. So 5.5 years ago, my life dramatically changed, or I changed my life. It was my second rock bottom. Yep, I've had two. And it was it was leaving my marriage. I left my marriage. I left my community. So I changed location, community. I changed careers, schools, friends, everything. And at that time, I knew that I wanted to be happy, joyous, and free. And if other people had it, I could achieve it. And in order to do that, I needed to go back to my strongest self. My strongest self was when I was surrounded by a team, and when I had a coach, and when I was an athlete. And so I grew up, I was an elite athlete. I had a scholarship to Arizona State swim team. I was team captain. And I wanted to get back to that spot. So I started training again, and I was already partnered with a premium nutrition company that had changed my body and had given me momentum to move my body, and then had given me clarity to be able to change my life and leave a toxic situation. And this company has an elite athletic division. So there's nothing like making a goal and going for it, right? So I wanted to get back to my strongest self. I had a goal of achieving a spot on this team Isogenics. And I knew where I was and where I wanted to be. So I hired a life coach to get me there, because that's what it took. I wanted to go from A to Z and collapse all the obstacles and get there as quickly as possible. So streamlined and organized. Now, how did I achieve all my great goals that I had achieved in my life? Was when I had a coach. So I hired a coach, and I got back to racing after 23 years. I used a vision board, and I went for it. I went for my goals, and I ended up, we had 3 years to qualify for the team. I did it in 12 months, and there's there was 5 criteria that you had to achieve. I achieved all of them, and in doing it, I broke a record for my age group, and I ended up swimming faster than a lot of the younger age groups. I broke a world record at Pan Am Masters, going as fast as I did. It was 28 years ago that I swam at Arizona State. So it was a phenomenal achievement, because that was an old story that I carried with myself. And if you look at my website, saragogginyoung.com, I have a little snippet movie about my story. I trained fast enough to be in the Olympics at Arizona State, and I blew out my knee. And I came back and swam, and I got my best times. I not only blew out my knee, I almost lost my leg from water skiing. So they told me I wouldn't even be able to swim again. I came back and swam and got my best times, but I never achieved the goals that I wanted to when I was a collegiate athlete. And so that was something that I carried with me, a sense of failure I carried with me that brought on 10 years of addiction after that, coupled with a dysfunctional childhood. Those two things manifested after I didn't achieve my goals. And I had 10 years of addiction and alcoholism that was my first rock bottom. That 17 years ago, I got sober in recovery. So this old story had manifested itself in my life and kind of seeped in and permeated everything I did until my second rock bottom, which was 5 years ago. I hired a coach. I wanted to demolish it. I have my second half of my life. I wanted to get rid of the old self-limiting beliefs and replace them with empowering beliefs. And that's what I did. And in doing that, I was able to achieve my goals and surpass even what I thought I could do.
It's such an amazing story. So it's like super inspiring. And it's so, you touched on so many cool points, but like one is, it's interesting always how, you were so successful and you did so well, but somehow how our mind just naturally goes, like, you felt like a failure, but like, why does the mind not see like all your success and focus on, oh my God, I did all those wonderful steps. It's not your fault that you had, you blew out your knee, that feeling. And I think that that's such an important point, that it's how you feel kind of magnetizes or attracts the other things into your life. So if you feel bad or you feel like a failure, then you start attracting those vibrations or those things into your life, which is so unfair, which is kind of like a default, right, of our mind. It chooses most often, because trying to protect us, but it chooses to look for the danger or the fear instead of the opportunity, the love, and the appreciation, right?
Yes, and that's how we're conditioned, and we're conditioned that way because we keep thinking that way. It's ingrained in us. I never knew there was another way to think until 5.5 years ago, and that's when I started training my mind to think differently, to get rid of the negative internal dialogue. It was my mind was not a great place to live for 44 years. I just didn't know that there was another way until I did. And when you know better, you do better. And it's all sets and reps. Everything in life is sets and reps. You want something, you have to do it. You have to work for it over and over and over and over again until it becomes a habit, until it becomes ingrained, until all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, my life has changed. I'm now this person. I now think this way. I now feel this way. So it's been an amazing journey. And that's what led me to completely change what I wanted to serve, how I wanted to help other people, because I knew that if I was hurting so bad for so long and then found a way to change it and to change the way I felt internally, in my heart, in my head, then I could share that with other people.
It's beautiful.